How do we even put into words what our dad meant to us and so many others? Though he passed away in August 2010, he left behind a legacy of compassion. He was the kind of person who would give the shirt off of his back and freely gave of his time, his energy, and his financial support to make our community a place where the power of violence was challenged and opposed by his strength, gentleness, and compassion. For those of you who didn't have the opportunity to know him, his heart was larger than life. Everyone knew that he treasured his family, friends, and colleagues, but our dad also treasured and cared deeply for those whom he had never met, but knew needed help. The people served by CVIC were as real to him as the people he saw day to day. He knew about their desperation, and he wanted to help. Along with our mom, Lisa, he made a tangible difference in their lives. He loved CVIC and all it stands for, to uphold the people's dignity and ensure their safety and freedom. In today's world, Dad would want nothing more than to help others, and now is your chance to fulfill one of his many dreams. We miss him every day and know his legacy will continue to live on with the help of all of you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Good morning, friends. I want to start by saying this room is filled with some of the best human beings that I've ever met, so thank you for spending your morning with us today for a great cause. So I'm Catherine Gillach. I'm honored to be CVIC's Board of Directors Chair, and it's our honor to welcome you to the 20th Annual Rise and Shine for Peace event. This morning's 20th Annual Judd Sondreal Memorial Rise and Shine for Peace breakfast is a very special event to us, and as the video reminded us, it carries the name and spirit of Judd Sondreal. He was a deeply valued friend of CVIC, whose sudden passing in 2010 left a lasting mark on all who knew him. Judd had an unwavering heart for those impacted by violence, always advocating for both children and adults in need. His passion continues to inspire the work that we do today. We are profoundly grateful to Judd's wife, Lisa, that she carries forward his legacy. Her steadfast support, along with the love and presence of their family, daughter Brittany and her husband Phil, and daughter Annika and her husband Matt, help makes this event possible year after year. Please join me at this time in recognizing this remarkable family and the powerful legacy that they help keep alive. This is an ideal way to begin our time together and build upon the theme for this year's breakfast, Champions for Change. These three words are simple, but they represent a profound explanation for why we are all here this morning, to actively pursue solutions to end interpersonal violence. Your presence here today signifies an active commitment to CVIC's Safer Tomorrow's roadmap, a long-range plan to end violence in 2 generations. It's a bold vision because the challenges in front of us are significant and very urgent. Every minute in the United States, 20 people are physically abused by an intimate partner. So think about that for a minute. In the time that I've been here on this stage, that's 60 individuals across the United States, and by the time we are done with this event, it's more people than who are filling this room. In our own community, 1 in 4 women, 1 in 4, and 1 in 9 men will experience domestic violence, sexual violence, or stalking during their lifetime. That's not okay. These are staggering statistics. They also represent people that we know and care about, our neighbors and our friends and our family. Champions for Change reminds us that this work isn't done by one person or one organization. It takes all of us, as individuals, small groups, and entire communities working together to build a Grand Forks County that embraces a future without violence. Through 3 focused pillars, safety, healing, and education and prevention, the Safer Tomorrow's roadmap envisions a community where all people are safe, respected, and free. Your support today provides a crucial safety and healing services, such as emergency shelter and protection orders, evidence-based therapy, and transitional housing services. Your generosity also enables investments in education and outreach that teach both adults and students about healthy relationships. Your participation and investment in our Safer Tomorrows work transforms the future for both individuals and families and creates opportunities for the entire community to thrive. During our program today, you'll hear from both survivors as well as those who support them. We will share updates and highlights today from your generous contributions and their impacts on area families, as well as the many community partners who walk alongside of our team. This collective support makes it possible for clients and their families to escape violence and transition to a life instead that is full of hope. By investing your time with us this morning, you too are becoming a champion for change. Thank you for opening new doors and paving the way for future generations. Speaking of champions and collective support, we are grateful for several area businesses and organizations that have stepped forward to offer in-kind gifts and cash donations to sponsor this event. A special thanks to Altru's leadership team and marketing team, which has consistently supported our breakfast for the past 2 years. A huge thank you as well to the Dakota Medical Foundation, which has contributed to this event for the 3rd straight year. Their generosity provides a head start on pivotal operating funds. Toward the end of our time together, we will share more about this as well as a special transformational gift. This year, we are thrilled to introduce our Champion Circle. These sponsors bring a new level of support to our CVIC work. We are grateful to Bell Bank, community contractors, and PCL Construction for stepping up as inaugural members of this inspiring circle of leadership. Every meaningful partnership begins with a simple invitation, and this morning is no exception. I want to take a moment right now to recognize as well the 84 table captains who extended that invitation to you all today. By filling this room with people who care deeply about building a safer and stronger community, our table captains are truly champions for change in their own rights. If you're wearing an orange ribbon this morning, please stand so we can recognize you, and let's give a round of applause as well for our event sponsors. Again, some of the best human beings I know. We have a special acknowledgement for our Dreammaker Society and Rise Up members later in this program. And CVIC's Board of Directors, through your exceptional leadership, you create a culture of innovation and excellence. It's been an absolute pleasure to serve alongside of you as well. I'd also like to acknowledge some individuals who have been working tirelessly to prepare a memorable morning for you. Please help me in thanking Ms. Cara Fossey, the Senior Director of Development, Precious Dada, Community Engagement Specialist, and Lindy Merck, who is one of the most organized people I've ever met, and the Director of Marketing and Communications. Please join me in thanking them. So we'd like to begin our program today with the Jim Vigness Peacemaker Award. We'll start by recognizing 3 special individuals. So each year, CVIC's board and staff select a remarkable community member to receive our Jim Vigness Peacemaker Award. This award honors someone who has gone the extra mile for those impacted by interpersonal violence. We have presented 22 of these awards since 2002, and it is our way of acknowledging the incredible collaboration involved for ending violence in Grand Forks County and beyond. We named the award in honor of the agency's first peacemaker, Jim Vigness. He was honored in 2002 and sadly passed away in 2022. Jim was a steadfast advocate for our work and a tremendous friend to CVIC. He worked around the clock to ensure that investigations were thorough and that survivors felt comfortable every step of the way. This year's 3 Jim Vigness Peacemaker Award finalists were identified through a comprehensive evaluation, which included a nominating committee representing CVIC staff and leaders and board members and past nominees. The 3 finalists were then presented to the board of directors as well as all 82 CVIC employees. Needless to say, we had a difficult time selecting this year's recipient. I'd like to share a few words about each of our award finalists. First of all, Dr. Earl Beal. retired collegiate educator and military police officer. Thank you for your service. As a founding member of CVIC before its official inception in 1980, Dr. Beal's contributions are endless. Today, he is an active member of our Coordinated Community Response, a nationally recognized collaborative approach among several partners. It is designed to improve crisis response and monitor metrics related to domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking. Mr. Mickey Berry, principal of Amaretto Public School District, a highly involved and engaged CVIC project partner. Mr. Berry has been instrumental in connecting students and parents with CVIC events and activities. He has also created additional space for one of our therapists to host office hours at his school, which breaks down barriers for students. Mr. Berry truly cares about his youth, and his engagement with our healing and educational partnerships is one of the many examples of his commitment to ending violence in our communities. And Andy Schneider, Sheriff of Grand Forks County. An unwavering CVIC advocate locally and statewide, Sheriff Schneider's support of our coordinated community response and legislative efforts have resulted in increased state funding and improved crisis response times. He has not only provided formal testimony during the legislative session, but participated in tours and lawmaker discussions outside of the session. These efforts have been instrumental to our success, both county and statewide. Congratulations to all the well-deserving nominees. Can you please stand so we can recognize you? And at this time, it is my honor to announce the winner of the 2025 Jim Vigness Peacemaker Award, a person who has shown an extraordinary commitment to working for peace in our community. And that recipient is Sheriff Andy Schneider. Just to embarrass you a little bit, I'd like to share a bit more about why you were selected for this award. So Sheriff Schneider takes time not only to support our vision through law enforcement, but also partners with CVIC and area organizations and lawmakers and civic leaders to advocate for additional state funding. He also understands that ending violence starts with support for the whole family. He and his team are strong contributors to the coordinated community response work, which continues to see progressive results, as well as our lethality assessment program, or the LAP program, which helps connect our survivors in the most dangerous of situations through CVIC. Sheriff Schneider operates with consummate integrity, honesty, and a pure desire to do right by those he serves. As a father of 6, which is another big statistic, 6 children, Sheriff Schneider understands the importance of investing in prevention as well as intervention. It's demonstrated time and again in his interactions with our team. We are fortunate to have a true champion in this corner of ours, both locally and statewide, in Sheriff Schneider. So congratulations to you. Would you like to say a few words? Thank you. Thank you for your work.
Thank you all. This room, you are all peacemakers, and I've told Koya actually, I wasn't going to come today because I said if you nominate me or somebody nominates me for this again, I'm not coming. Like, there's so many good people in this room that are deserving of this. I don't even know what I really do to deserve it. I guess I heard some of it here, but everybody has the ability to make a change, and that's what all of you are doing here today. And you'll see in your handout, there's a sheet of all of these fantastic donors, which unfortunately CVIC can't do their mission without. But I've found a different, unique way, because I haven't been able to put my name in that book yet, other ways that you can contribute. And it might not be directly financially through yourself. It might be through your employer. It might be by providing a service to people that need it. Maybe you work at a gas station, and you can provide some vouchers for fuel for somebody, or hotel vouchers. But there are ways to contribute to this mission so you can have success stories here and get to this second 2 generations to end violence. I did notice when I came in that there is a table that we should recognize, and I don't know if I'm reading ahead in the book or not, but the legislative session just wrapped up, and we have a table of champions here, and there might be some more throughout the room, but there's legislators in the room. If you're a legislator, could you stand up from Grand Forks districts? Come on, guys, sorry. But I'm sure Koya will touch on it a little bit, but the amount of money they were able to bring in for CVIC and all of the missions in the state that are on the same goal this year, from what they were projected to get to what they were able to seal up in the last weeks. Thank you very much. Eric, Emily, you guys, Scott, Jeff, you guys did a fantastic job pushing for that. I know Emily and Eric spent a lot of time working on it outside of hours, so thank you for that. With that, I know they said that you don't have much time, so I'll try to keep it short. But just remember, you might not be able to contribute financially, but there is some way some of you in here can contribute. And everybody can be a peacemaker. It's all going to be in a different way. And if you impact just one person, if you can impact one person's life, maybe it's with a conversation with them, then you've definitely made a difference. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I look forward to not seeing my picture on that screen next year.
Thank you, Sarah Schneider. So we talk a lot in our work about multi-level influences of generational trauma and how wide and vast and detrimental its impacts can be. As someone who sees youth development in real time in my role in Grand Forks Public Schools, I am incredibly passionate about healing and prevention, two of CVIC's 3 core pillars within the Safer Tomorrows roadmap. As an educator, I see the impact every day, whether it's a child who doesn't know what safe feels like, or a student who finally finds the courage to speak up. I witness both the pain caused by violence and the power of prevention. I have lost count of the number of times social services has been called in to support students under my care. As a veteran school administrator, and a shout out to the social services people in this room. Weekly, I receive multiple handle with care alerts from the police department, which means the police have engaged with a youngster, often because they witnessed or were directly involved in an act of violence. I can picture the face of the young person who disclosed to me that they stepped in front of their younger sibling the night before to take the blows. And the other youngster who pleaded with me not to call home because the last time I did when he got in trouble of what happened. I know students who have been lured into sex trafficking. And not long ago, I lost a friend to suicide, only to find out afterwards that he could no longer live with the shame he felt from being sexually abused as a child. I did not know. I wish I had known. I believe that CVIC could have been there to help him. I have also seen the opposite side of CVIC's education and healing and prevention services. I've heard my own daughters and their friends talk about and identify things like toxic relationships. I've seen students intervene as upstanders when peer conflict was escalating. And I've witnessed how therapy services have restored the light of hope in a child's face. CVIC's work makes a difference. It changes lives. It changes trajectories. We have much, much work to do, but the roadmap has defined a way in which we can end violence in our community, and I am proud to be on the bus alongside CVIC as a champion, as a donor, and as an advocate. That's why I'm here. That's why y'all are here. The good news is that thanks to your investment, we're making progress, and it can be measured in so many ways. In fact, last year, CVIC broke a record for community engagement with educational and prevention programming, reaching more than 22,000 individuals, 8,000 of whom were youth. In addition to prevention, reaching youth in area schools is one of the best ways for many clients served by CVIC to begin their healing journey. Grand Forks Public Schools is fortunate to have a partner in CVIC on a variety of individual and group therapy partnerships that transpire right on site, meaning students where they are in our schools. That is how we met Kyle Jarvis and his mother several years ago, a young teen attending rural classes at the same time Kyle spent time away from the school day with one of our youth therapists who provided therapy sessions on site at Midway Public Schools, which serves residents in rural Gilby, where Kyle lived. The young boy who once hid under tables and later grew into a teen trying to protect his mother from a father who used violence is determined to pave a different path for his own family. Today, Kyle is one of our greatest champions, now a thriving restaurant manager and a member of our survivor advisory panel. Some of you may remember him speaking at our breakfast 3 years ago. At that time, he was getting ready for his upcoming nuptials to Mariah and shared what it might look like once he raised his own children. Last month, the Jarvis champions grew by 1 with the arrival of Gwendolyn Ray, all 6 pounds, 13 ounces of her. What we know about trauma is that we can overcome it when we can connect to one trusting adult who believes in us. Kyle has taken this fact to heart with plans to set a strong path for his own family, being a champion for a solid marriage and a good father. On a recent text to a member of our team, Kyle sent these adorable pictures of Gwendolyn and the following message. We had a beautiful little girl named Gwendolyn Ray on March 14th. I keep thinking back to the speech I did a couple of years back. The part of the speech when I will have kids someday. Now that day has come. Seeing her is another level of love I didn't think could be there. Mariah had to work this morning, but Kyle and Gwendolyn are with us today. If you'd please join me in honoring this growing family of champions. That is one cute child. Thanks so much for being here today, Kyle and Gwendolyn. We're excited to see where this next level, the Safer Tomorrow's roadmap, takes you and your family. Like many of the clients we serve, many of the partners, donors, and staff who support CVIC also feel compelled to give back. Being a champion for change means impacting lives as well as entire families. Joining an effort as bold and brave as ending interpersonal violence sometimes originates from experiencing it firsthand. You'll have the honor of hearing from Amanda Hendrickson, a childhood and adult survivor, later in the program. A true champion for change in so many ways, Amanda understands how trauma impacts families. As she'll share with you later in the program, she believes her experience has a purpose. And today she stands with CVIC and its survivors, knowing that change is possible. Before we introduce Amanda, I'd like to call to stage Koya Tompkins-Inman, CVIC's president and CEO. In her 6th year with CVIC, Koya has come to learn that champions come in many forms. She's going to share more about how those champions made a difference in her own family and what it means to be part of a vision to end violence for future generations. So please help me welcome a person whom I both adore as an individual and admire as a leader in our community, Ms. Koya Tompkins.
Thank you, Catherine. We appreciate not everything you do for students, but as well as CVIC. And personally, Catherine has become one of my favorite people as well. As Catherine mentioned, many survivors experience abuse far too early. CVIC and its 18 sister agencies have been working hard to change this through conversations with both federal and state lawmakers. 3 of these agency leaders are here with us this morning, along with our statewide coalition director. I'd like you to meet Michelle, Chris, Jill, and Seth. They have been working hard and closely with our senior team, and mostly Laura and Tracy behind the scenes. They have made some remarkable efforts, and through their work, they have changed important policies and procured increased funding for critical safety, healing, and intervention services. This is truly an effort that takes a village, and I'm very grateful for their engagement. Their work supports 12,000 Grand Forks residents, as well as over 256,000 North Dakotans who will experience domestic and sexual violence in their lifetimes. In discussions with lawmakers, they like math, so we're often very quick to point out several data points. And of all the statistics we shared this past legislative session, the one that stuck out most to me was 4,205. This is the number of reported children who will experience domestic violence statewide in a single year. Although data are important, every number represents a person, a family, and a community. And although I don't think about it every day, for me, this data point has come full circle. It's been about 40 years, almost to the day, but I was one of those 4,205 children. Mom was attempting to leave an abusive relationship with a man who's now deceased. At the time, I was 11. My younger brother, Matt, was 9. And I won't forget the three of us trying to flee in the middle of the night under the guise of grabbing some milk at the local grocery store. I was a little perplexed when we backed out of the driveway because our 1980s Chrysler started heading west instead of east. Piggly Wiggly was on the east side of town. This was back in the 1980s and long before the cell phone technology that we have today. So my mother made her way to the lobby of the local hospital. It now has a different name, but back then it was St. Joe's Hospital. She asked to use the phone, made a quick phone call. A few minutes later, a lovely volunteer named Vicki came. And about 10 minutes later, we arrived at the crisis center in Minot. Jill, who you've just seen on the screen here, has a beautiful building, a lovely program, amazing program. But back then, this building looked quite a bit different. It was about a 1940s house, I think, Jill. It was lined with floor-to-ceiling paneling, 1970s appliance, and this lovely burnt orange carpet. But for the first time in a long time, my mother and my brother and I were safe. Vicki was actually the second champion to show my family true kindness and compassion. The first was my mom. As the days and weeks passed, my mom slowly found the courage to leave this abusive relationship. In my quiet moments, I think a lot about how hard that must have been for her, how scared she must have been, how long that 10-minute drive must have felt, and how truly courageous she was to ask a stranger for help. Most of all, I think about Matt and I and how fortunate we were that she took that first step. Both my brother and I are parents now too, so it's really powerful to think about the impact my mom has had not only on me, but her grandchildren, and my grandchildren too now. Trauma experts will tell us that it takes just one caring adult to make a difference. It's foundational for our work to end interpersonal violence. And thanks to my mother's strength, my brother and I did not play out these terrible patterns that we saw flow through our home. Mom has also sought help for her healing and regular therapy through support groups. Matt and I did too. Her courage literally changed the trajectory of our family's future. And I'm grateful to tell you that my mom's future changed too. She met an incredible man that I'm very proud to call my bonus dad. And 40 years later, she continues to be a champion for change. She's not only a member of our Dreammaker Society, but she recently made the trek again from Minot to participate in our Green Dot Bystander Intervention Program. Both my mom and Ron are here with us today, and I was wondering if they could stand to be recognized. And I got through that without crying, Mom. That took about 10 times. On hard days, it's really easy for our team to get overwhelmed. And in a year like this one, it truly feels like the perfect storm. We have threats to federal funding, we have economic uncertainty. As you've heard, we have increased violence and increased mental health and addiction. And locally, we've had a recent sentencing and some documentation related to a very high-profile case. So our community has faced even greater effects. Violence is always tough to talk about, and mostly for me, it's because it's preventable. No matter where we sit, though, we all play a role. For some of us, this has become some life's work. For others, you'd like us to continue the conversation and keep that focus on those we serve. No matter where you are, your presence here today makes you a paramount extension of our team. And I want to personally thank you for having faith in our longer-range plan to end violence. The good news, as Catherine said, is the signs of your progress are evident. One of the bright spots has been the growth of our therapy services. Today, after more than 2 years of planning, some of it very painful, we have been able to bill for insurance now. So we are able to bill carriers for client services. When it's safe to do so for clients, this tool provides another source of funding and at no cost to survivors. Any deductibles or fees that are incurred are passed on through the Pete and Mel Hoisted Client Emergency Fund. Like therapy, one of the holistic aspects of our approach is the strength of our New Choices classes. This is a state-mandated program designed to educate those who use violence. Last year, 160 men and women were served by this program, and they were the parents and guardians of 322 children. 2 years after individuals complete the program, we see a 74% reduction in 911 calls and an 89% reduction in criminal charges. When I think about my own life, I think about my mother's late partner and his father before him, who also used violence. Before he died, he repeated this pattern several times after my mother left. Without proper intervention, these devastating patterns compound for families, including those children that we care so much about. What if he or his father would have been able to participate in New Choices? Or better yet, what if the rural community where they grew up would have talked about healthy relationships? Your presence here today is a sign that families can thrive. And if we stay true to our goal, they will. And now I'd like to introduce you to another champion. He not only advocates heavily for his students at the University of North Dakota, but he watched his own mother champion change for an entire community. Please help me in welcoming Art Malloy.
When Koya asked me to participate in today's program, it was an easy yes. Throughout my life, I've had the great fortune to work with incredible champions, and in my career, I've been exposed to student leaders who take your mission and vision to heart at the University of North Dakota. I can assure you that your presence today is just the beginning of what change can look like for Grand Forks County, as well as the many surrounding communities where CVIC partners with educators and local civic leaders. Now for me, my first champion was my mother. We had a family friend who was in an abusive relationship, so as a young boy, it was not uncommon for my mother's friend and her children to spend several nights in our home. My mother's friend was not unlike many survivors who visit CVIC in that she didn't leave the relationship immediately. Our CVIC experts will tell you that it takes an average of 7 times for someone to leave an abusive relationship. Now, I witnessed my mother serve as a champion for her best friend. She demonstrated what it means to be truly there for someone, meeting them where they are, no matter what. That experience quickly taught me that I had an obligation to be a champion for others. I vowed never to let that type of violence and abuse in my own home. And if I ever had the chance to be a champion for someone else, I was going to take it. We teach both youngsters and adults through our bystander intervention efforts that if you see something, say something. I was well within my career as a college administrator when my mother's example to be that champion for someone else took on a profound meaning. It was an experience that I will never forget. I've been privileged in my career to work alongside so many talented, creative, and competent students. Prior to joining the University of North Dakota's leadership team, I served as Dean of Student Success at a university in Atlanta. In that role, it was not uncommon for me to work with students struggling with various challenges that impacted their ability to fulfill their college experience. What I was not prepared for was how much trauma students endure that may not be evident in our day-to-day interactions. Many times, people who need a champion are in dark places, be that physical, emotional, financial, and in some cases, it's all of the above. It's hard to see the light when all hope seems lost. One day, a young woman came to see me, and she was clearly in distress. As she shared her experience, I learned that she had been trafficked for an extended period of time, and that the trafficking activities were enabling her to pay her tuition. Feeling like she had no way out, it took a lot of courage for her to share this with me. The mental and psychological abuse had risen to a place where you could almost feel her soul fading. But I'm grateful to tell you that the team and I were able to connect her with some very generous donors who ensured that her education could continue without the abuse. But that experience changed me. No one deserves to be extorted or used. And it was the university community and several collective champions who took a stand for this student and many others. Sometimes being a champion takes courage too. Since joining this remarkable community, I've seen this narrative play out time and time again. This is a compassionate community, and we care about one another. And when all hope seems gone, Grand Forks neighbors make time for each other. Examples of Champion for Change are endless, but here are just a few to note since the Safer Tomorrows Roadmap was launched in 2017. Becoming a statewide leader in legislative efforts to garner record financial increases for 2 straight sessions, as well as enhance important laws related to domestic and sexual violence. Engaging with our sister agencies in Bismarck and Minot to assist in launching new domestic violence intervention programs. Partnering with the State Attorney's Office, local law enforcement, and the U.S. Attorney's Office to earn the 2024 Federal Firearms Designation. This enables the Grand Forks County's State Attorney's Office to prosecute offenders of intimate partner violence who illegally possess firearms. Educating the masses about trauma-informed services and care through media outreach, national presentations, and face-to-face tours with local leaders. Providing more than 20,000 nights of safe shelter to more than 800 adults and children. Serving more than 500 youth and adults through more than 12,000 therapy sessions, with 98% of youth noting healthy coping skills and improved emotional well-being. The collective championship for so many individuals and families who are now thriving due to your engagement cannot be overstated. Some of you have personal experiences with CVIC's work. Some of you engage because you know a friend or a family member who's experienced interpersonal violence. Or maybe you're brand new this morning and this is your first introduction to our work. Whatever your role, I hope you'll consider partnering with CVIC to continue to champion the change that we all know is possible. In the spirit of invigorating even more hope for future generations, I'd like to introduce you to another CVIC champion, our keynote speaker, Amanda Hendrickson. We're going to share a video to give you a glimpse into her experience and then invite Amanda to the stage to share more. A survivor, as well as an instrumental friend, volunteer, and donor to CVIC, Amanda understands what it's like to face interpersonal violence because she's lived it, both as a child and adult. Please join me in learning more about her powerful experience and how she hopes it will encourage others. Let's watch.
I have found a purpose to my pain. But when you give out of your experience, that's where that peace comes and helps you on your healing journey. I was always afraid as a child, just terrified of, I couldn't sleep, I didn't eat. My parents would bring me to doctors and different things, and I know now that it was what I was carrying. But I look back at pictures of me and I look like a normal kid. It's interesting, there's a lot of photos of me where I don't smile at all. Looking back now, I can see all the things that I was feeling. And I didn't want to believe that it was true. I found out that he lived with us off and on most of my childhood. I struggled with, did I do something to cause this to happen to me? It was like, how could it not be my fault? Like it happened so often. It happened for a length of time. Like, how did I allow it to happen to me? I knew I was young, but I didn't know I was 4. That's the lie that we tell ourselves, is that if we just block it out, it goes away and it doesn't affect us. The abuse that I sustained as a child really impacted every relationship I had. I had such a skewed perception of love. I often found myself in relationships that were not healthy. Very early in my 20s, engaged to somebody who was very, very emotionally abusive. He shoved me up against a wall and he punched the wall next to my face. And I instantly inside went, what am I doing? And I looked at him and he saw the shift in me. And I said, I'm done. That was the first time I stood up and I thought I deserved better. I still didn't understand why I finally felt that way, but at that same time I had joined a church that became my family, and the pastor had been talking about just how much God loves you. And I believe that was the turning point for me, because I finally heard, you are loved and you are worthy. I feel as though even though it was the beginning point, turning point for me, I still had a long way to go. That night, my 2 friends looked at me and they came and they hugged me and they said, I am so sorry for what you went through. And it was the first time that I was able to express about what happened, and somebody loved me back. I would say it's probably about 14 years ago when I was first introduced to CVIC and realized, oh my goodness, these people are amazing. Here is an entire organization fighting for this, fighting for us, fighting for the little girl that I was. If I would have had the different programs that you have, I don't think it would have taken me until my mid to late 30s to really get on a healing journey. If I would have heard about positive relationships with the school program, I love it.
We really built our services around 3 pillars: safety, healing, and prevention education. And so the prevention education is really the foundation that we're laying, covering topics such as how to care for each other, how to be a good friend, how to handle conflict. And then as they get older, we start talking to them about bullying and online abuse that can happen. And then of course, as they get into high school, we talk about healthy relationships and warning signs to look for.
I love that my son can come home and tell me about all of the different things that he learned, and that if there was any question, he would have somebody to talk to. When I heard the lofty goals of ending violence in 2 generations and everything, I was like, wow, is this possible?
I think CVIC's holistic approach of safety, healing, and prevention services is really the answer, because I think if we only provide safety services, we're helping people in the moment, but we're not preventing violence. If we're helping people heal from their experience, we're ignoring the people who have immediate safety needs, and we're also not preventing violence. If we're only preventing violence through curriculums in the schools and other education programs, we're not addressing the people who've already experienced the harm. And so having that holistic approach, we can end violence, but only then.
but I thought there's a piece that I can help out with. It started off with hair kits. Sometimes it was lice kits that people would just stop by and pick up that I would just provide. And the one thing that I started doing with CVIC is I created go bags. I tried to think of what would I need if I had nothing. I put in there a pair of socks, a small blanket, a hairbrush, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, hair ties, coloring books with color crayons just in case there was maybe a child, a journal with a pen. I hope they bless somebody.
Well, when a client is able to get a go bag when they arrive at shelter, for example, they're so often so thankful that someone else out there cares about them.
We need people that are willing to make a difference. We need to have the courage to stand up and say, that's not right. I'm going to do something about it. Pain can have a purpose if you let it. And a huge part of my healing journey has been to help others. There is so much joy and peace that comes when you can do something for somebody else, when you can make a difference in their lives. And if you can change one, and we all choose to change one, that will change a whole community. And who knows what the future will bring.
Good morning. Thank you all so much for being here. You look amazing, by the way. I am truly honored to have you hear my story today. It was a cold, dark winter night. The only light in the room was the glow of the nightlight that somehow helped me feel safe and warm. I sat in the corner of my bed, huddled under the canopy of the top bunk, watching, waiting. The light reflected off the mirror, highlighting the new strawberry shortcake vanity my sister and I had just received for Christmas. The sticker mirror, warped and wavy, made the light dance across the room. I imagined myself brushing my hair and playing with makeup. Thinking of all the fun things I would do, my gaze shifted back to the door, watching, waiting. With my knees curled to my chest, I thought, if I could just make myself small enough or stay quiet long enough, maybe he wouldn't see me. That hope faded as I stared at the door and the doorknob began to move. He moved into the room slowly and quietly shut the door. There he stood in the light that no longer felt safe and warm. The glow that once danced around the room showed brightly on his blue jeans and white t-shirt. His hands raised slowly to his belt, and he began to unbuckle. I was well into my adult years when I realized this wasn't the first time. If it was, I would have been sound asleep instead of huddled in the corner, waiting. For some reason, I wanted to believe that it was just one time. For so long, only fragments of memories flashed in my mind. Anytime they would come, I would feel so much shame. While the abuse began when I was 4, I spent over 25 years dealing with a secret pain I couldn't understand, afraid of a memory. I tried to stuff it away and pretend it was a dream. I tried to be good enough, to be worthy of love. Ironically, my name Amanda means worthy of love. But for most of my life, I never felt worthy to be loved. There is a song, Flowers, by Samantha Ebert. She shares about a pain that she is going through. She asks, Lord, why are you keeping me here? He says, child, I'm planting seeds. I'm a good God, and I have a good plan. So trust that I'm holding the watering can, and someday you'll see the flowers that grow in the valley. My journey began nearly 14 years ago when I was invited to attend this very breakfast. I didn't know what to expect, nor did I understand truly what CVIC did. I sat at a table of strong, confident women in business, and I felt so insignificant. As I listened to the speakers, I had a stirring inside of me. I thought, I'm not the only one. For years, I thought I was alone in my pain. My heart broke hearing the statistics as I realized just how many there were like me. At the end, they asked for donations, and I thought about how little I had. Having just opened up a business and putting everything I had into it, I had just over $200 in my account. I wrote out a check for $200 and placed it in the envelope. Leaving the breakfast, I had so many feelings inside of me. Would it make a difference? Why do I feel so drawn to this? The feelings and memories came back, and instead of stuffing them down or pretending it was just a dream, I decided to face them. If others could, then maybe I could too. If you were at that breakfast, had any part with the immense amount of preparations or ever given to CVIC, I want to say thank you. Because of you, I was able to begin my healing journey. I stand before you today, a life who has been changed by your generosity. Around that same time, I was introduced to running, and the open road became a place of peace and clarity. Running can be hard, often a mental game you have to push yourself when the body wants to give up. My first half marathon was life-changing. It had rained all night, and my shoes were soaked instantly. Throughout miles 7 through 10, I had such freedom. However, the last 3 miles became challenging. My body started cramping, and everything in me wanted to give up. Those cheering and holding signs kept me going. They didn't know who I was, but I found comfort in knowing someone was there cheering me. The person I trained with came back and ran with me until the last half mile. He told me, the wind is strong when you round that corner. It will hit you hard. He prepared me for what was ahead. He said, don't give up. Keep your head up and keep going. My sister joined me at the last half mile, telling me I was crazy for running this long. It made me laugh, and I was able to cross the finish line. Finishing the race gave me so much confidence and made me feel like I could conquer anything. And for the next few years, running was my therapy, and I completed several more races. 2015 was a very healing year for me. Finally choosing to forgive people I needed to forgive, including myself, I threw my hands up and said, okay, God, you know me better than I know myself. I surrender. Could I really be worthy of love? I believe God answered that prayer in my husband, Andy Hendrickson. Andy is a man of integrity, loyalty, and love. Because he provided me with unconditional love and support, I was able to start healing on a much deeper level and begin therapy services. During a session, I remember feeling so afraid that she would judge or condemn me. Instead, she looked at me with so much kindness in her eyes, and she said, Amanda, we do the best that we can with the information we have at that time, and when we know better, we know better. I said, yeah, I know, but, and she said, Amanda, we do the best that we can with the information we have at that time, and when we know better, we know better. As time went on, I realized I was healing and growing into the person God called me to be. Not perfect, but when I knew better, I did better. I wasn't a bad person or judged for my mistakes. No longer being defined by my trauma, it took until my late 30s to finally realize that I was a victim of someone else's choices. As I look around the room today, I wonder if there are any of you out here like me, lost in a painful past, afraid of a memory. Recently, my therapist reminded me of the Serenity Prayer. He said most focus on the first part, but sometimes miss the middle. The courage to change the things I can. Today, I hope to give you the courage to embark on your own healing journey and see what is waiting for you on the other side. Let this be a new beginning for you. You are not alone. You don't have to be afraid of a memory. It can't hurt you anymore. It wasn't your fault. CVIC is here for you no matter who you are or how long it has been. The song Flowers ends with her saying, "When I'm on a mountain and looking down below, I'll see a valley of flowers that needed time to grow. And I'll thank you for the rain, the hurt, and days of pain." I have often struggled with the concept of being thankful for the pain. But today, I can look at that little girl and say, I am so sorry for what you went through. It wasn't your fault. There will be a purpose to your pain, and you will see the flowers that grow in the valley. You are helping others on their healing journey. You are safe. You are worthy of love. Will you please join me in becoming a champion for change and be a part of someone else's healing journey? Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. That was incredible. One more round, please. That is amazing. Thank you for your strength and your vulnerability and your generosity in helping us understand that that violence has a face and that survival and even thriving afterwards is possible. It's what it really looks like. So table captains, at this time, please hand out the referral cards in your packets, because this is where all of you come in. We hope that you'll keep this card close and share it with someone who may need it. It may be small, but it also could be somebody's lifeline. If you'd also please turn your attention to the gift forms enclosed in your program. We've set a bold goal to raise $450,000 in gifts and pledges to sustain CVIC's work over the next 5 years. And I know that we can do this. One of the most powerful ways to give is by becoming a member of CVIC's Dream Maker Society. These individuals commit to a gift of $1,000 or more per year for 5 straight years. Today, we are grateful to have 271 Dream Makers who make CVIC's work predictable, sustainable, and impactful. Proudly this morning, we have more than 160 of our Dream Makers in attendance. At this time, Dream Makers wearing a blue ribbon, would you please stand to be recognized? Thank you for your generosity. This morning, to meet our goal, we're looking for 50 more people to join our Dream Maker Society. We're boldly inviting all of you to be the reason that more survivors get their chance to heal. A 5-year Dream Maker Society pledge of just $83 a month, which is less than most of us spend on streaming services or even a night at supper, provides a lifeline for 60 local adults and children every single year. At $100 a month, you offer someone 42 nights of safe shelter. At $125 a month, which is less than a hotel room, you educate 174 students on healthy relationships. And at $208 a month, you fund 23 trauma-informed therapy sessions for children. That's not charity, that's legacy. For those inspired to create deeper lasting change, we invite you to join our distinguished Guarding the Future Dreammakers. With a pledge of $5,000 a year for 5 years, you'll help provide 175 nights of shelter for local adults and children as they move from surviving to truly thriving. If you're already a Dreammaker, thank you. Today, I invite you to take one more step. Please consider extending or enhancing your pledge. Maybe it's $25 more a month. Maybe it's extending for one more year. If every Dreammaker extended their pledge for one more year, that would generate an additional $271,000 for our clients and our families. Transformational Dreammaker pledges, those of $10,000 per year, are vital to our work. These bold commitments are more important today than ever. This morning, we are honored to recognize someone who has taken such a step with incredible heart and vision. Joanne Neufeld-Gall, a longtime friend of CVIC, a past board member, an unwavering champion, recently pledged $250,000 in loving memory of her parents, Jack and Lorraine Neufeld. Yeah. Joanne's gift reminds us of the extraordinary impact that one person can have on an entire community. To continue this momentum and meet the road ahead, we will need more bold commitments like Joanne's. If you're in a position to make a transformational gift, we would be honored to walk that journey with you. Another option is to join our Rise Up monthly giving program. With a recurring gift of your choosing each month, you'll be part of a steady force for change. Today, our goal is to recruit 50 new Rise Up members, and we invite our current members to increase your gift by just $5 or $10, a small change that can make a huge difference. No matter how you give today, with a pledge commitment, a monthly donation, or even a one-time gift, what matters most is what you do. As Sheriff Schneider said, there are other ways in which you can contribute as well that can change the trajectory of one person's life. For all types of giving, payment options are provided on the back of the gift forms and a QR code that is included as well. If you're joining us today as an esteemed member of the Dreammaker Society, please accept my personal thanks for partnering with CVIC. Please be sure to sign your pledge form and make your first payment today, even if possible. And as we learned from Amanda, a gift at any level can make a difference. This is your chance to step up and say, "Not on my watch." At this time, I'll give you a few minutes to complete your gift. And as people filter out, on behalf of the staff and board of directors of CVIC, I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming today, for your generous support of CVIC, and for choosing to be the kind of person who empowers families and individuals to thrive in Grand Forks. Thank you again to Lisa Sondreal, Altru, and the Dakota Medical Foundation. We'd also like to thank Brady Martz and our in-kind sponsors, Mobile Pro and the Lara Center, for their tremendous support of our audio visuals and event production today. They are truly a pleasure to work with from start to finish. And for those of you that don't have to leave right away, you're invited to stay and connect with CVIC staff, other wonderful human beings in this room, event speakers, and fellow supporters who share your commitment to building a safer, more hopeful community. So table captains, before you leave, please collect all your forms and the reusable name tags in your envelope. And on behalf, again, of CVIC, I want to thank you for being here and spending your time with us this morning. Be well, go forth, and do good in the world.